Welcome to our web exclusive. I'm Mike Montecalvo along with Eyewitness News Analyst Lt. General Reginald Centracchio. We're going to talk about Thanksgiving and the troops overseas and how they celebrate. Also, we're going to need a new Secretary of Defense with Chuck Hagel stepping down. Jack Reed's name always seems to come up, General, when this position opens up. But first, let's talk about what's going on in Ferguson. So on Monday night, the grand jury came back. It was announced that there was no indictments against the police officer who shot and killed 18-year-old Michael Brown. We've seen the violence. We saw, cars on fire, buildings on fire, businesses being looted. What was your reaction when you saw all that Monday night?
It was certainly reminiscent of the 1960s when we saw the same thing going on with civil rights movements across the entire nation. But I was disappointed because when you look at what they were expecting something different than what a grand jury is supposed to do. Grand jury is not supposed to make a decision whether the guy's guilty or not. They make a decision as to whether, in fact, it should go to trial or there's an indictment that would fit the requirements to proceed to a trial. So I was disappointed that there wasn't enough education, apparently, to have them understand what the outcome of a grand jury would mean.
All right, so timing is coming into question here. Some are questioning the 8 o'clock announcement. What did you think about that?
I think when you listen to the justification for that decision, I lean to agree with it. One was to make sure that all of the school children were at home in a safe environment, that you didn't have a lot of traffic in the midst of a daytime scenario. And perhaps more important was they gave them the police an ability to be able to preposition themselves, and perhaps most importantly too, it gave the business owners a decision to make, either close up or stay open. And I think those were enough, in my opinion, to justify the time frame.
The governor of Missouri is calling in more National Guard to deal with the violence. What's their role going to be at this point?
The Guard is always in a supportive role, either in helping with physical security, boundaries, communications, and obviously to the greater extent, if there was a rush on the police, then you have the National Guard as a backup to be able to be supportive and pushing that surge against the police away.
Now, Providence Public Safety Commissioner Stephen Perry came up with this today on Tuesday. He says this is an opportunity now to not just to learn, but to improve tactics and training within the police department, and also maybe going outside the box even more and hiring more minority police officers. Would that establish a better trust within the community? I
think it would, but you had to keep in mind all those things are good, they're positive. It's an after-action review as to what you can do better. But I think you need to understand, we need to understand as a society, if you're not receptive to be the reception of that, then I don't care what you do, it's not going to be afford us any better scenario unless the people have respect for law, respect for the police, and that seems to be an area that needs a lot of attention.
All right, taking a back seat, believe it or not, is the resignation of Chuck Hagel, Secretary of Defense. Were you surprised by him stepping down?
Yes, I'm not sure he stepped down voluntarily. There seems to be some divisiveness between him and the president as to what the policy, especially foreign policy, is concerned, as to how to negotiate the withdrawal of troops from Afghanistan, whether in fact we need additional ground troops. And much of the conversation over the last several weeks pointed to him not agreeing with the president, and I think he was asked to step down.
All right. Now, you've said on TV before that you thought one of the most qualified people to take this job is Rhode Island Senator Jack Reed.
I still do.
I know you do. So the president calls him and says, Senator, I really need you. He's already said he doesn't want the job. Yeah. But Barack Obama calls him and says, I need you for this position. What do you do if you're Jack Reed at that point? Maybe he's done that already.
I think if the president called him in and said, we really need you, he would probably take it. Reluctantly, perhaps, because he understands he's got 6 years in front of him as a senator. It would be a 2-year stint, but at the same time, I think he would take it if he was asked.
All right. In closing, General, Thanksgiving is Thursday. How do the troops celebrate?
Troops celebrate just like you and I. A huge opportunity to have a meal, sitting together, camaraderie, and today's technology with the kind of immediate ability to talk to the families, a lot of that will be going on too.
All right, General, happy Thanksgiving. Thank you for your service.
Thank you too, Mike.
Thank you for everyone, and happy Thanksgiving.